2021 with the killing of an
No water.
Assalamu alaikum and good night. Welcome to a very rainy Wednesday evening. But you know, the weather can't keep us back. The weather does only stop cricket. So, as it is, I had to pull Mr. Jagesa out from under the covers because you know he lives in an area what is kind of flood prone. But so we wouldn't go too late today because of that situation with the bad weather. But you know, we cannot have breaking barriers on a Wednesday. So firstly, I would like to start off with some birthday greetings for a little 4-year-old here. And this is Sarah, she will be 4 years old Wednesday. I knew her when she was in her mother's arm coming to Baraka Ground. And now she has grown up to be such a beautiful little girl. And she speaks so well. So Sarah, all the best from us at IBN here. Happy birthday. Happy 4th birthday to you. Okay guys, let's get cracking. Now first on the, let me just introduce my host here. Today he say he's 50 cents. Watch him and tell me.
I was soaking wet in the rain, so I had to borrow an outfit from Uncle Moody and Uncle Nazim. We pieced together something. So forgive me, but I'm in borrowed clothes today.
Yeah, that is genuine leather.
You find so?
Genuine, boy. That looking like sheep, boy. Sheepskin?
You just try to tie me up, you know. Last week you tell me something about poya and poi and all kind of thing and pui, and now you're coming out genuine.
Nah, well, you know how it is. You have to learn a little Hindi. Anyhow you take it. So tonight we want to start with what has been a topic for the past week ever since the statement was made by the former Minister of Education. I find it was so ridiculous from the first time I heard it. You heard it, Richard?
Well, I heard it, but I don't think it started there. You have to remember that she was the former Minister of Education when school suicides as a result of bullying was on the rise. And she made statements like she didn't receive reports of school bullying or evidence of school bullying after a young gentleman took his life and so on. So in circumstances where her methods have tried and failed, she comes now to do two things. One, to sort of give advice to the new government, and two, to explain why I think she was intentionally not resolving problems.
Correct, and that is the main point.
Yeah.
Because who it was perceived to be, that she action wasn't taken.
Yeah.
It would have looked bad. You know that kind of thing?
Yeah.
It would have looked bad now. You know, anyhow, let's run the video, guys.
Hold on. Before you run the video, there was an incident that occurred 2 weeks ago, more or less, a school fight, which led the Prime Minister to say at a post-cabinet briefing last week, Thursday, which I seem to be talking about every week now.
Right.
She said last week, Thursday, that her government is taking a no-tolerance approach to school violence, school bullying.
Right.
So there was an immediate response from this government, unlike the last one, right? Because as we heard, we just talked about it last time, Nayan Gatsby-Dolly said, not enough evidence, do anything. And so we had an immediate reaction. And a policy was proposed whereby the new government says any evidence of school bullying or school violence will be met with criminal charges.
Correct.
Expulsion and suspension for the least. So she said that.
Rehabilitation.
Followed by rehabilitation. The proposal for rehabilitation was even supported by the minister in the Ministry of Homeland Security. That's Minister Sturge. He came after, and in his...
Homeland Security is...
he's minister in the ministry.
Oh, right. He fall into both.
Correct. And he explained that, they're going to have these programs. There are things that they're looking at, the existing programs need improvements, new programs need to come on stream and so on. And he worded it like this. I'm talking from the top of my head, so I may make an error. He says something along the lines of, we need to transition you to use your negative energy to something positive. Right? Good. Which is understandable.
Yes.
Good. It is in that backdrop that all of a sudden the former minister, Nyan Gatsby has all of this to say. Has all of this to say that we're going to show you. And it is clear in her video and in her explanation why she never took school violence and school bullying seriously.
Correct.
It is clear in the video why the last administration allowed people to be bullied and allowed people to feel as though their only hope to escape school bullying was to take their own life. Let's hear why.
Who do you see on those videos? Generally, who are the young people? And I'm saying to you as Minister of Education, I've seen many of the files cross my desk, and many of those children who are misbehaving have PNM mothers, PNM grandmothers, PNM fathers. And I'm saying to us that as a party, we have to enter the fight to help them. And as the Women's League, we have a role in helping our PNM mothers parent even better than they are. We have a role in understanding when we have single mothers that they need help.
That
You hear what
is,
she said?
that is the Minister of Education.
You hear what she said?
Those remarks. So what about the other citizens of this country?
No, look, the truth come out. They didn't care about the law-abiding citizens of this country. You know why? Because the files across her desk, she recognized the names. The names were that of PNM children.
How you doesn't know that?
I don't know.
Because I want to know exactly how she could watch a name and say this is a PNM person, or this is a she ain't talk about UNC, or how you know this is a UNC person.
Yeah. Like when the report come on, she does it have a party card attached to it.
So this speaks volume now as to what if she have to make decisions based on names. That means a certain type of names, she will throw it in the back burner because they perceive to be not PNM because they only going to want the help they own. What about single mothers who are UNC or any other party?
That you hear what she call upon? The PNM Women's League. She call upon the PNM Women's League. Now, she says a lot about helping those PNM people who ever helped the parents of the victims.
Exactly.
Who helped the victims? In some instances, and we've talked about it on the show, the victims resorted to taking their own lives.
Or
writing suicide notes.
Or the parents will probably take the child or children off the school. Some of them, if they could afford it, will pay for private tutoring.
That is correct.
Or they will send them to another school if they could get the transfer.
Yeah.
Because if the transfer come in front of Dolly and she sees a UNC, she mightn't give them it.
Yeah.
Based on the name.
The PNM never cared about the victim. Never cared about the victim. Never cared about the victim's parents and so on. And that's why that attitude also seeps into the Sanjagrong legislation, because they say no guns for everybody, don't shoot nobody in the yard, because, it's perceived a certain type of person would be the criminal. But that's not what we're saying. You shared something with me this week. A criminologist said something about racial division and so on.
Yes, he says stand your ground will have racial overtones.
And what did I reply and say? I said, only shoot the criminal, the trespasser, the murderer, the raper, and so on. Rapist, you do pick me up for that. The rapist, the murderer, and so on. Only shoot after those criminal elements. Don't matter your party card.
Of course.
Right. So I want to show two things now. I want to show, I think we have the fight, the recent fight.
That's the one in Central, Cuba.
Holy Faith, Cuba.
Right.
And then the school policy that we have gotten a copy of. I got it yesterday evening late. So, guys, let's get this school violence. You have it listed as a video, school violence.
6 girl beat 1 girl. The whole team was by the flicking gas station, gain grease to cross the flicking road when we went into them to go in the school. They're still talking grease because they know we can't come in the school compound. When we looked up, pull one in the front of them, she ended up getting away and pushed she. She pushed the flicking red girl. That's how we ended.
So this is a fight that took place just outside the gate of the Holy Faith Convent Cuba School. Look, one of the students who got beaten up there. So I understand from comments on social media that this fight occurred because some social media, some TikTok, some Instagram comments got out of hand. Some school child called some other school child ugly, and some comments like that were made and exchanged. And this is what happened. Show by the video there very briefly. We only have a few seconds of it. And if you notice, you see some students, the assailants are not in school uniform.
Right. They went from information.
We played the video, the other video with the girl talking, where she talk about it like a Ocean 13 plan.
They went inside some coffee shop or something there.
Rituals across the road by the gas station.
Change their clothes and come back because they don't want nobody to see their uniform.
Right. Now, that is because they heard the Prime Minister say, if you commit an offense in a school uniform, expelled and criminal charges and so on. So they thought they would get around it by changing their clothes. In truth and in fact, it does not matter. Yeah, we get to that in a second. In truth and in fact, what they've done, if they've opened up themselves now to criminal charges wholeheartedly.
The outer uniform.
Correct, because they're outer uniform. But I understand that a report has been requested of the principal of Holy Faith Convent Cuba. What you're going to hear now is one of the assailants, allegedly one of the assailants, boasting about the plan to go for the student in his school and boasting about the fight itself. All right? So go ahead and play it.
6 girl beat 1 girl. The whole team was by the flicking gas station, gain grease to cross the flicking road when we went into them to go in the school. They're still talking grease because they know we can't come in the school compound. When we looked up, pull one in the front of them, she ended up getting away and pushed she. She pushed the flicking red girl. That's how we ended up getting to beat up the red girl. Don't feel like some kind of advantageous thing. All the time she talking grease, stand up or come down, she hoodie on she flicking head and watching people bad and talk for Chloe. Chloe feel it because she was going to say, hey, sorry, remember we broke and we's a piper. We bust your uniform. Come money to buy it back now. Nobody talking about how to push the friend and back inside the school. And then when we beating up the girl, they playing the pushing the hand. If I love to pick up all your fella, pick up all your friend, like be real. All your badness low and low. Oh God.
Who's off?
Right. So a lot of it had to be sanitized, all right, because the violent language, malicious language was used there. But why I wanted that to play ever so slightly was to say this. Nyan Gatsby Dolly thinks a little detention will fix that mindset. Nyan Gatsby Dolly thinks a slap on your wrist will fix that. That was damn near gang violence. Yeah. That was almost gang violence.
Planned. And it was planned.
And executed, yes, correct. That was an orchestrated assault. All right? And look, the child in the hospital with a neck brace, she needs help to breathe.
I think and she had some bruises all that, and I think her eyes were bloodshot and all that.
So I wanted to go through what she said. It was planned, they orchestrated it, and it was akin to a gang assault, all right? No slap on the wrist, no writing lines, no penance, no detention, no suspension will fix that. That needs serious criminal rehabilitation. And you cannot expect that to be in the same environment as a child who wants to learn.
Exactly.
Because look at how far it reached. Here the girl herself, she says, the girl they went to beat was unavailable. They couldn't reach. So they take anybody.
Anybody coming out.
They take anybody. I think she called the girl named Chloe. They take Chloe and they beat Chloe.
Innocently.
Correct. So if Chloe is an innocent girl going to school to learn, not associated with the issue, not associated with the drama and the bacchanal, Chloe Galix and Chloe not in school today. But Nyan Gatsby Dolly wants to allow that criminal element in the same environment as Chloe. And that is why I wanted it to show. So you understand that we've gone far beyond what the PNM was giving us for 9.5 years. And that's why we need this new policy. And that's why I asked for the policy to be on standby. There we go. So we have a new policy now. All right? And let's go down very quickly. In the context of continuing indiscipline, now we have, of course, we have a no violence issue. According to students who commit serious offenses while in school uniform, whether or not on or off the compound, face maximum penalty of expulsion from school. This includes students who engage in fights that result in serious injury to others, as well as students wielding dangerous weapons. Those students who are expelled and are of compulsory school age will have to continue schooling in alternative institutions, which of course the MILA program is on. Principals are to report all incidents, so the burden is on the principal, at a legislative point we've discussed before, of this nature immediately to the nearest police station. It should be noted that Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has indicated that they will lay the appropriate charges in all such circumstances. In addition, an incident report must be submitted to the Permanent Secretary through the established channels within 2 hours of discovery or notification of such occurrences. You come back to me now. So now we have real-time, live reporting conditions, not like Nyan Gatsby Dolly, who she said she never got a report of the indiscipline. I think she said in that instance, she said the first time she got a report was 3 days before the boy took his own life. And I made the point, well, 3 days was long enough to save his life. Remember that?
Of course.
So it is in those circumstances that we found ourselves in a situation where we need to take clear, practical, and decisive action. We cannot have that level of criminal, malicious elements in the same environment as children who want to learn, all right? So the ones who can be saved will be saved. But there are students, the vast majority of children in this country want to learn.
That's what you're going to school for.
That's what you're going to school for. So we need to give them that safe and secure environment to learn. Imagine children who fake stomach issues, fake headache, fake being sick, not to go to school because they're getting bullied in school.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? What about children who can't write exams and so on? You see, but we have to remember, Nyan Gatsby Dolly comes from a PNM where bullying is allowed, where bullying is...
You can't say that, Richard. I'm disappointed in you.
What about your friend? What about your Stuart Young, the dustbin bandit?
Yeah, but you could say that. Stuart, he already in the dumps. You're bringing him out again?
No.
He discarded. They don't want him. He's a non-entity. If you in an organization, as you bring him up, if you're in an organization, right, you're highly qualified. You wouldn't aspire to be at the top?
Yes.
Stuart Young could ever aspire to be at the top?
He and Faris fighting to be the mouthpiece of the 1%.
They cannot. They don't want them there. They're there because they're family benefiting.
Yeah.
And they will probably get piece of the pie because when you check it, family. So that is what's going on. So Stuart Chena, they want you there. What are you doing there? And then it have big bacchanal in the piano now. We switch. Big bacchanal with the election coming up.
Yeah, well, let me show that video then. Guys, you have a video titled Rowley. There was one other clip I wanted on the school violence, which was the 2 students expelled for a year so far, but we can skip over that. Let's go to the video with Rowley. You want to talk about Bacchanal in the PNM? Oh God, they're collapsing. I thought I was in court at one point, you know. I say like my I thought my, your computer video has moved from YouTube to one of the court proceedings we have on. When I see certain things, I thought I was in court. You go see it. All
right, guys.
Fed up on the rah-rah, I'm fed up on the nya-nya. 60,000 people, you're behaving like 60,000 crabs in a barrel.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
We are also concerned about is the unequal access to information.
A few moments later.
That certain members have a unfair advantage in these circumstances, and we say that this should not happen in the People's National Movement.
Yeah, but NDPNM is a well-oiled machinery.
Well, you call it the best. You call it the best political party in the Western Hemisphere.
Boy, oh God, I'm really sorry for them. I'm disappointed in every one of them.
When I see the bands there, I thought we was in court, you know.
Yeah, boy.
I thought his trial. I thought his submissions are hearing.
The only thing it had, it didn't have a big coat.
The robe.
And the frills on top.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden, PNM, one group fighting with the next group, issue on top of
and the list, they say the list not sanitized and...
Yeah.
And I thought that used to only happen with the UNC.
Yeah, well, you see how them is now?
Everything they want to take, boy, they kind of copying everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if the UNC used to do that, so let me get involved in that. Right?
Yeah.
So, Richard, what I will like to do with your permission, that is, you is the senior man. If we could get the callers with this particular topic, get them a little...
Yeah, of course.
A little blind.
Of course.
Let it call in and let's get their opinion on this school violence issue and the stance that the Honorable Prime Minister took in regards to the measures for school violence.
And while we're doing that, could we, while we're waiting for the first call, bring up job loss? Bring up job loss. It's just a start of an article while we're waiting for this. As we're on the topic of PNM failures now. Look at this. PNM faces backlash for job loss hotline. Right? You can take it on now. I go through it in parts in between the calls. So if you don't know, PNM put out a hotline.
Yes.
If the UNC fire you, call this hotline and, something will happen. The phone lines are open, guys.
Yeah. They will get plenty licks for that,
Right. No, well, I'm trying to pull up the article.
All right. We have a call in.
Right.
Let me take it one down. Hello, good night, caller.
Yeah, good night. I want to get the program.
Yes, go ahead. Proceed. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
My contribution tonight will be that if you can't put enough pressure on the children for committing the violent crime in the school, you can charge the parents or lock up the parents and give them some time in jail to stand the consequence for the after the children. Thank you, gentlemen.
Richard, I think that's legal wrong. Have legal ground to stand with locking up the parents?
Somebody did raise that. The reporter did ask the Prime Minister that, and they said they are looking into legislative reform for that. Right. So if somebody were to message the PNM hotline and say, well, all right, I'll lose my job, you get a message that says, you've contacted the PNM job loss hotline. This info is for statistical use only. No names will be published. Did you work for the government and lose your job after April 20, 2025? If so, please share the following information.
After April 28?
Yeah. After April 28, 2025. If so, please share the following information. Your name, optional. Phone number, place of employment, job title, duration of employment, contract type, date of firing, reason given, and mode of firing. Was it verbal or letter? Thank you for participating. We're sorry for your loss. If you'd like to speak to a counselor or legal advisor, please let us know. Imagine that. So the PNM just using people even now, for statistical purposes,
But Richard, let me ask you this question. If all right, the date is set for an election, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just give out contracts for, let me say, 2 months before election.
Right.
Definitely you will give your party hacks the contract. Let's say for 2 months, or
Right.
maybe a little more than 2 months.
Right.
So let's government change. And if the time come to renew or discard these contracts, wouldn't it be prudent to just put a halt on these contracts, re-advertise, and give people, open it for everybody? In that case, everybody will get a chance,
Correct.
not just your party.
Correct.
Because that is how the contract will run before election. You will put all your people there.
Correct. And not just that, I think separate from this whole idea of contracts and so on, contract positions, we really have to look at our public service. We really have to look at it and ask ourselves if we are being effective with the resources that we have. A lot of positions, I think, are redundant. Remember, we've inherited a public service from the British. We've inherited positions like clerk and field officer and so on, when these things, in not every circumstance you need that quantity or those kinds of positions. You have data collector and so on still, those things are not necessarily needed in ministries that have an abundance of those things. So I think we need to look at it and really transition where we were 50 or 60 years ago to where we are now in the age of and the day of technology, where everything is now electronic. All right? We still have a position in the Ministry of Agriculture, in the Commissioner of State Lands Office, LSA. We have positions there called typist. We have typist vacancies which are not filled, and technically, if those vacancies aren't filled, then deeds can be drafted, leases can be drafted to send for cabinet approval and so on, and that's a kickback. So that needs to be looked at. The logistics need to be looked at and determine if whether or not you could do away with the term typist, do away with the need for a typist in the public service, and then send those things to your legal department for drafting. And then you save money because you no longer have to spend money to hire a typist. You have more money for other things.
I have to tell them, give me your resume. I will send it in to see if you get any position you want.
I just always say my resume is good boy.
Good boy?
Just say good boy.
All right, well, seeing that we're going...
You want to take the first break?
Let me take our first break, and then we'll come back.
Yeah. Guys, our phone lines are open. Call us even during the break, and we'll just have you on standby and bring you up as soon as we come on.
Introducing the finest selection from premium deli and meats. Savor the bold flavors of beef salami, beef pepperoni, and chicken ham. Indulge in our diced beef bacon and perfectly sliced beef bacon. Explore the rich taste of smoked beef and tender roast beef. Treat yourself to our juicy jumbo chicken hot dogs and beef hot dogs. Top it all off with the delicate flavors of smoked turkey breast and our premium whole turkey, all halal certified for your trust. Delivered to you by Chill Foods, premium deli and meats, excellence in every bite.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronix's collection of angle grinders.
Chic Leisure Limited, making life easier. Our renowned great tasting vermicelli comes pre-cut in regular and parch, packaged to make preparation simple. Attention all doubles vendors and roti makers, try our high quality pre-sifted bromate free all-purpose and whole wheat flour, low price and conveniently packaged. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Chic Leisure Limited, Warrenville, Conopia. Chic Leisure Limited, quality you can trust.
Ronix Premium Quality.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
And welcome back, folks. First, I want to remind you about our expo, the Grand Expo coming up on 17th to the 20th of July, Baraka Grounds Endeavour. Book your spot now. These spots are going quickly, so you can book your spots and come and enjoy our normal expo. We have everything safe, parking available for over 400 cars. So book your tents now, and we'll see you there on the 17th to the 20th.
Yeah, guys, let's get the phone lines up. We want to be an interactive show, especially how we cut in
Tonight,
short tonight.
let me find out how the weather treating the viewers at certain part of the country. We heard that some work was done in the Arangways area. That is before this heavy rainfall. And according to Mr. Moody, it had no water in the road.
So somebody on the live said, well, it have so much fighting in the PNM, they think the school is good practice.
Right. Mr. Moody said that there wasn't any water on what usually accumulates on the road, so which means to say the cleanup that they did just before has already started to reap the benefits to the citizens in the area. So if any persons have a large amount of rainfall in the area and it affected them, probably you could say it now so that if you need any help, that could be done through the resources of the ODPM if they will come out, or they have to wait until they get an emergency call.
No, I think there's a cluster of ministries that have been put together that are designed to answering these calls urgently. In fact, every day I see notices put out where you could collect sandbags, where you could get emergency resources, that kind of thing.
I think it's how they started to distribute sandbags.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily through the ODPM.
Now, the corporations will get
that. There's a cluster. There's the Ministry of Local Government, there's the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, and Ministry of Agriculture. So together they're clearing drains, dredging and so on, and clearing the roadways, making sure there's no garbage that will make its way into the lines and so on. So looking at it from that angle, it's a very solution-oriented situation where the government has finally taken front before front take them. Before floods started to occur, there's clearing of the drains and so on, which will help, of course, ease the floods. And
now, I don't know if you have noticed this, Richard, that it have a couple roadway I could identify. It will have a small hole.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't fix it.
Yeah.
The hole will get bigger. One hole, it will get a little bigger. They still wouldn't fix it. So I just be asking myself, if it's a small hole and you will use one barrow of problem material, let the corporation go and fix it.
That's correct.
It have one right in Trin-City by the roundabout. When you go on that, you feel like you're falling a crater. It have one when you're coming off from Medford gas station, coming back on the highway, by SM Jalil warehouse there. Yeah. That is getting bigger every day. And nobody seems to care. I sure there are people passing this. Oh God, well, don't talk about by TNTech to come in the back entrance, by Mount Hope Hospital. Well, you're feeling like if you're in the Bocas. And this is a short piece of road. Mm-hmm. If you're coming in from the roundabout and you're pregnant, halfway you're going to make the baby. No, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
And that ain't taking much to do. And next thing is, I've seen people on Facebook correlate for the 10%.
Before I made the point, guys, our phone lines are open. We want to hear from you. We have a bridge show tonight because of the weather. So phone lines are open. That's why the number is on the screen. Feel free to call us and let's hear your opinion on these issues. Go ahead. So they want the 10% now.
They wanted no. And the PSA president...
And they want Petrotrin open back.
Everything. Miracles they want. And the PSA president was right. She waiting for the mid-year review.
Yeah, which is next weekend, 16th.
The 18th.
16th to 18th.
Right? And then she said she wouldn't expect anything until the budget. So I don't understand these people. And you know, most of them who making the noise, according to Dolly, to me they look like PNM.
Yeah.
And then what the 10% first?
Yeah.
You understand?
I remember after the Prime Minister made his statements about no tolerance in school violence, she made it on Thursday. Friday was a normal day for school. Saturday, I saw one of those heavy PNMites, your favorite one, heavy social media PNM wannabes, the one who was collecting $30,000 from NLCB.
Oh.
She said, well, she ain't seen no school violence decrease yet. One day after the announcement was made. You saw it Saturday?
I said, look how these people
one
so ridiculous.
Day, right?
Boy. Oh my God.
And it's so transparent, It's so transparent.
Yeah, but I go get the magic one, you know. I go really get one. I go talk to Cinderella and see if I can get it from the fairy godmother.
Yeah.
And I will wave it and solve everything.
Yeah, those PNM social media pages, absolutely ridiculous. The bias and the ridiculousness is so transparent. And they always comment on their page and commenting with their fake profiles and you know, and so on. And it's absolutely ridiculous. This article, for example, that talks about the headline is PNM gets backlash for job loss hotline. On the comments on social media, some of them are actually well, I don't want to say pro PNM. Some of them actually make it sound as though the UNC actually fired people. Fail to read the headline at least. Illiteracy is a real thing. Fail to read the headline at least. That's not what it's talking about. That's not what it's talking about at all. And actually, I saw a release today from Minister Amin, said that the government is not interested in firing. They're interested in job creation. You know, they're going to open up job creation. In some ministries, like Ministry of Health, teaching and so on, Ministry of Education and Teaching sector, I should say, they're going to fill long-standing vacancies, doctors, nurses, in teaching sector, some teachers, finally elevate teachers in principal positions and so on. So those things will happen. But you're correct. The funds for those things are found after some shifting around, which will happen in the mid-year budget review, and in the proper allocation, which will happen in September.
Now, I had a nice interview lineup, but the person wasn't, they had plans already. That is with the same violence.
Right.
That was the principal of St. George's College.
Right.
He called him and he said, ex-principal, that is.
I wonder if Daddy Weekend Boy, we could get an interview from a principal, ex-principal.
Yeah, once he tell the guys take the number one time.
We'll see.
But it's ridiculous. Something else I was going to say, this criminologist.
The one you sent me.
And we had issue with him before because he
was the same guy we had issue with?
Yeah. Remember he said that
he know all the criminals
Central businessmen
in Central
were being extorted.
Let me take a look.
Because they're not paying alleged
extortion tax.
Right.
I think we have a caller on the line.
Hello, good evening, caller.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to you, gentlemen.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I saw something today, a post on Facebook from two schoolgirls in uniform, with a tie, full uniform. I didn't know. By chance, did you guys see that?
I honestly didn't see that one, Richard.
No, I didn't see that. Two in their uniform, no, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, what is very, very disturbing and distasteful, I hope their parents and their extended families and everybody is proud, including Dolly. So, what did the girl asking the next girl? I don't mean to be disrespectful, please forgive me. What did the girl asking the next girl? What is the word for today? And the other girl say, the younger the soul, the tighter the hole. No disrespect, please, because it's plastered over Facebook.
We had to it was on Facebook, but we still have to be careful here, right?
I know, but what I'm saying is, if I was the parents of these girls, I would have been locked up right now, All of us have a great evening.
Yeah, we have to be very careful on the airways, that watching.
Oh, guys, I think you have the video. The video that you told me that you had uploaded last. It's not on the sheet. That one. Could we have that one played, please? That's the one with the police in front of Holy Faith Convent.
So what do you think about your new...
We have it there.
Commissioner of Police?
Directly behind me is Holy Faith Convent in Hoover, where yesterday a 15-year-old Form 4 student of the school was attacked and assaulted just outside the school's compound. Now the girl suffered cuts to her knees. She has a swollen and blue black eyes, as well as injuries to her head. I spoke to her mother this morning and she said she is recovering. Parents told Newsday that this morning 2 police officers were stationed outside of the school. This evening around 2 p.m., 2 police officers came back and stayed for roughly 45 minutes. Now, the senior police officer was telling Newsday that they are limited in their manpower and they have to visit 30 schools within the Hoover and Grand Hoover district.
You have to put police vehicles outside. What about, do the schools still have guidance officers?
Yeah, well, yes, but the Prime Minister said that one of the things she's going to do in her 5 years is increase that portfolio, increase the powers, and of course the student to guidance counselor ratio. But one of the points I wanted to highlight on the same point that you made, that look, we have to pull resources from police patrols on the street to park up police vehicles in front of school.
And the crime situation is so high.
Exactly. So imagine that a mastermind criminal send his child to go and cause ruction in a school, which will now pull resources from street patrols to go in the school. So the mastermind criminal could now go and raid your house.
Exactly.
Right? Now, at the end of the day, you cannot answer that kind of violence that you hear what the news reporter with it, assaulted. He spoke to the mother today, and the condition the child is in and so on. So you have to answer that kind of violence with strength, with force.
Yes.
The same way the Prime Minister has answered certain allegations in Venezuela. Now, we don't have the time to go into all of it now.
Well, that one is a next issue because as you raise it, I see the picture of the guy came up on the news today who they said was the alleged terrorist.
But, okay, I didn't see that one. Usually I try to watch news before I get here.
And the people in the district said the guys are... he's not that type of person.
But is it the pictures released by the Venezuelan government or our government?
Well, I think the Venezuelan.
All right. While we take this call, let's see if I could pull up that very
Hello.
quickly.
Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, go ahead.
How are you guys going on?
This song is like Tabac White.
No. Barack Paul.
Barack Paul, you gotta get rich now, eh? Barack Rich.
Yeah, we always rich in soul and in heart.
All right.
Yeah. Gentlemen, up to this day, I can still be hearing in my head, my old man tell me, boy, make sure and take your education seriously. Make sure and get educated. Don't end up being like him, because he used to work carrying as a kid cutter and all these kind of things. But when I look around now, like in the community where we live, I seen people living comfortable in the sense that, they have their homes there. They have a little old car. The community, okay.
Right.
But, after time, you just get wisdom. You just learn a little sense, more, knowledge of what reality is. And then, when you look at it now, it have the carpenters, it have the straightener, it have the mechanic, and they're making a fair, okay living. But then, it have the educated carpenter now, who making more money and not holding a saw or a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
because he now elevated himself to being a contractor where he's hiring people. Likewise, the straight and the painter, he has paid no pain to anything, because the educational part of elevating yourself comes in there now. And no matter which background you come from, how poor you are, you could be from a single parent, you could be what community. We just have a golden opportunity in this country of education.
Free education, eh?
Free education, where it could change the rest of our lives and take you out from whatever scenario or situation you are in as a child or growing up as a young teenager. And it seems like the mentality of the statement that this previous education minister made, like that, have some kind of stigma in this community of these people who feel that, oh, here what? We are PNM people, we are PNM children, so we don't really need no sort of education and things. Because when you look around in society, it have all the opportunities there for people who are not educated to be employed, you know. To go and work in the garbage truck, to work in the dump, to work in the fast food industry. And then when you see take off that school clothes and you don't have the opportunity of schooling anymore, then the reality just kick into these people and to realize they wasted 16 years, 15 years of their lives. And now the rest of their life now becomes the punishment that we asking for delinquent children in school, where they have to get up and go and look to make a living in whatever condition, whatever treatment they have to take. They lose the opportunity now of choice. When they could have put themselves in a position to make a choice in whatever they want to do and where they want to live and what they want to buy and where they want to travel and things. No choice now where they have to accept anything they get, because now life becomes a survival. And you know, when you're seeing all these fights and things, I just wonder these people who just be guiding these communities, if they don't sit down and talk to them and try to impart some kind of knowledge so that they could break that cycle and, you know, elevate the community and elevate the thinking of the children so that at least they could give them a chance.
All right.
And then you will see these...
Barakwa,
Yeah.
I know we have other callers, so wrap it up quickly.
Okay. Well, you know, and I just wanted to say that. So, all you have a good night.
Yes,
Take care and
sir.
be safe outside.
Yeah,
Take
man,
care.
and thanks for your call.
No problem.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, proceed.
Yeah, Nazim. You heard about the fetus they found this morning in the Beetham dump?
This morning or about a day or two ago?
Something like that.
A female
Yeah.
fetus?
Yeah. When last you heard about the Family Planning Association and their work?
But to tell you the truth, I for a long while, I never heard about family planning.
Right. Remember when Emily Elias was the chairman?
Yes.
And you used to hear this thing songing on your head right through?
Yes.
Where that gone? Are they financing it now? You know, and that's a critical aspect of dealing with the young persons and teenage pregnancy and things. Because let me tell you something, all these single mothers and things, I don't know, when they have these children and they have to work, I mean, it's who they going to? The children going to the gangster for looking for something? So instead of dealing with it, we tend to deal with something when it happens instead of preventing it.
Right.
Why don't they
react? We just like to react.
All right, and you have community health. Did you have something called community health officers in the Ministry of Health? I don't know if that post still exists or what, but they used to go along to the schools and do health education along with sex education and things. What's happening with all that?
Why, probably it was working, and they, you know, they do like things to work. They just like things to be just mayhem. Look like, for instance, Comfort Police. Comfort Police is to work.
Yeah. Yeah, community police too.
They used to pass by me in my area, and they will, if they see you in your garage area or anywhere, they will stop, and they will ask you if everything all right. You see anything in your area?
Correct.
Now they disband that. All that going through.
So we had to return those things, right? Because we're dealing with prevention. We ain't dealing with when after things happen. We're dealing with prevention, and that's where the problem is all the time in this country. Planning not in the vocabulary at all.
Of course not.
All right?
All right, sir. Thank you.
Right.
So the only thing I could pull up is an article from 9 hours ago where the Venezuelan government allegedly indicated a Trinidad national was on their soil and captured, named Gis Kendall Geron.
I think in the news it did show the guy, and the people from the area said that to their knowledge, he's not that kind of person.
Right, but more importantly, on the front of whether or not we are making efforts to resolve the issue diplomatically, Sean Sobers, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and CARICOM Affairs, he has said that he has sent no less than 3 communiques to the Venezuelan government, simply inviting communication to be open, simply saying, well, I heard you all say this on a public forum. What, if at all, do you have to tell me about it, the representative of the Trinidad central government? And Venezuela has not answered. So it seems as though the Venezuelan government does not care to actually resolve share any information, but rather to make it inflammatory and make it out to be this whole big media circus for an alternative and malicious reason. On that front, I see nothing wrong in the Prime Minister saying, if you intend to do that, be warned. We will not tolerate that. Now remember, while she said that last week, she simultaneously issued a directive to Minister Sobers to reach out, and in 6 days, he's reached out 3 times. Right? Let's say the caller, and we'll come back to the
Hello, good evening, caller.
Hi, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Good
assalam.
evening, Richard. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Just not bad at all. Just a little a play actually to see if we can have our representative and our MP for the area of Freeport to come visit us. We have not seen or heard from them since they won the election. The councillor for the area, since he won the local government election, he has never been seen or heard from. All the other areas are being attended to by their relative MPs and councillors. We are yet to see ours. We have situations in this area that need to be dealt with, and they cannot be reached at any given time.
Who is your representative, caller?
Barry Padarat.
For Freeport? Oh, yes, Cuba South.
Cuba South, sorry.
Cuba South, Freeport falls in Cuba South?
Yeah, there's Cuba South, Cuba North. Cuba North would be Ms. Jerry Dunn.
All right. I am sure.
And who's the councillor?
The councillor is Alan C. Prasad.
I am sure somebody.
Let me tell you something. We don't know what he looks like. Tall, skinny, fat, black, white, yellow, mustache, beard, nothing. The man don't walk here. He don't do nothing.
All right. Well, you saying it loud and clear, and somebody is listening. So maybe that individual.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad I have it here. As a matter of fact, where we are right now, there's an area in Freeport that is flooded because of a river that was diverted. The water is impassable for people right now. That's inside Calcutta number 2.
All right, but that's good. You're airing it. Somebody will hear, and they will probably take remedial action. So
I certainly hope. Well, we need to get our MP busy in our area as well as the council. We cannot find them. We have not seen them. We haven't seen the MP since the 2025 election, nor have we seen the local councillor since they won the local government election last year. You ask anyone in the area, they can tell you the same thing.
All right, well, I understand that, but the councillors in them should be very visible. But as for the MP who is now a minister, he's still putting things in place in his ministry. So let's give him a little time. But yes, the councillors in him should be helping out the area.
By Nazim, the council is anything but visible. I'll tell you that much.
All right, well, you call his name, and it is on air. So let's see if you can get some remedy from that.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Yeah, man. Okay, thanks.
Uncle Nazim, I think we could even take it a step further IBN could write to the Minister of Local Government and say, listen, while on air, we've heard this issue, serious issues of flooding, a live issue of flooding, which could snowball into a public health concern, a safety issue, and so on. We've heard this concern. Perhaps you should direct your councillor to take a look.
Of course.
So let's caller, we'll do our best on our end and see how best we could get your representatives down to you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have a recommendation I want to make to the Minister of Education and the Minister of National Security, that they should start to educate the children in school about the stand your ground laws, so that they will know that when they go into people's property, they could get killed now, they get shoot down now, and they aren't worried about anything else. So
Caller, I think that's a good idea, but the first thing we have to do is have the stand your ground laws and then educate the adults.
I think...
Well, it's coming, my brother, it's coming, but the thing is that you start to educate them so they can't say that they didn't know that you can't enter somebody's property again.
No, but caller, you have to remember, you're putting the onus on, let's say, the government, the schools and all that. But more importantly, that should start from home. The parents.
Yeah. All jokes aside, the parent has to tell their child, don't go in somebody's yard.
There are laws now, you understand?
Yeah, don't be involved in any criminal activity.
You ain't going to give me no gold chain again.
I don't understand.
I don't want no gold chain anything again. Don't give me no.
I am thinking of, if you do that, they can't come and blame nobody for standing ground. They should know about it. And they know, well, you cannot enter nobody's property again. From before the man is afraid, the police will lock you up if you fire a bouncer. Fire guilty behind you. But now they are afraid nothing.
I hear you, caller. I hear you, caller. When I went to school, it had no class telling me don't steal, don't lie, don't curse, don't rape. You never catch me doing anything.
Of course. Hello? Hello, good evening. Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Nazim.
Yeah,
Charlie,
Hi, good night.
Yeah, here what's going on, right? I have two things to talk about tonight real quick, right? Concerning these school fights and things, right? You see what the Prime Minister talk about and the things they willing to implement. I think that is good enough. Let me tell you something. You want to go and fight outside the school and you don't have one uniform, it's lock up. It's jail. Right? Straight. You're in school uniform, is expulsion.
And lock
straight. Up. Yeah, well, whatever they plan to do after that. And let me tell you something. I think that they should put legislation in place to charge the parents too. Because the parents is the first person that's supposed to really discipline the child.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Discipline starts at home.
And let me tell you something. These girls going and fighting outside the school and then going on social media and talking this rubbish.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's it.
I telling you, watch me. My personal opinion, I feel is a single parent home these girls are from. They probably don't have no father or wherever. I don't know. But something missing.
Yeah, but Charlieville, even though is a single parent, right? There are so many people who come from single parent home and they have achieved. They have achieved.
I ain't saying no, and you're quite right about that. That's why I say something missing. Something is missing. But here what's going on. I think that the police right now need to set an example with these group of girls outside the convent school. Set a proper example with these set of girls. So the next set coming up, they can understand where it is going on.
I agree with you totally.
That's the first thing. And the second thing, right, is that all these talk that Faris Al-Rawi talking and the last education minister and whatever rubbish they're talking. Here what I want to find out. I want to find out what Fitzgerald Hines went to the Ministry of National Security to collect. That's why I want to find. I want to know who
FOIA pending for that?
Yes.
To collect documents, sensitive documents. To say why you went to the basement.
All right, don't worry, Charlieville. Maybe in about 2-3 weeks max.
They might ask for extension.
Once they do ask for an extension, that is coming.
Right.
That information was already requested.
Concerning the road that they're talking about, I living in Tahadel Road, or Papier Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
The road has 2 landslips. Now, let me tell you something, right? That road, this Tahadel Road, the last time it was fixed was on that Jack Warner. That is where the People's Partnership. when he was the MP for we area, right? That the last time we road fixed, and the road is in a mess. There are 2 landslips on the road. But let me tell you something. I'm giving the government enough time. They're now coming and now settling down.
Right.
I'm giving them time because I wait almost 12, 13 years since he come out of office. Since we were driving on this road. So I could give them a little time. Better give them a little time, man. Let me see what they're going to do. But this road has to fix.
Call back that road again.
Tahadil Road off Pear Road.
Tahadil Road off of Pear Road. I by the Savannah.
Next to Pear Road, Savannah.
All right, here we're going on. Richard
No
now
problem.
tell me. They're going to handle that in 2 weeks for you.
No problem, man.
Tell
I
me
appreciate
that.
He joking,
I appreciate that. I'll enjoy the night.
All right, yeah, man.
As a man, my word is my bond, you know. If I say something.
Hello. Good evening, caller. Hello.
Good night, gentlemen. Good night.
Good night. We're going to do 2 more calls. Right?
Okay, so your point about the public service and some of the positions being redundant is very true. And I believe that the public service should be, especially with new technology and so on, that it should be revamped and upgraded.
But I only made the point, and I only made the point very slightly. It's something I think we should flesh out on the show, the way we flesh out legislation and domestic violence and those kinds of things. But yes, the overarching concept, I'm glad you agree.
Yes, and I'll tell you why though, Richard, that the public service has not been upgraded over the last 10 years, although it is one of the most crucial organizations for how things run in this country. The reason simply is that just like CPF and URP, the public service was, I should say, because we now have a new government in place, the Service Commission has been used, public service has been used as a feeding trough of a different nature, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how. Many positions, you know, before when I applied for a job, I would submit my hard copy application. Now you cannot do that. You now have to wait until something is advertised and then you apply. But guess what? Sometimes the advertisement is done just as a formality. They already have their people.
That is correct.
And 2 or 3 days before the expiration, eh?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also now, Mr. Jagisa, you cannot go to the public service as you used to, you know. You now have to be downstairs. Talk to somebody on a phone. They don't take members of the public anymore. Don't speak to them.
Yeah.
So you are downstairs and everybody is hearing what you are saying. So the Minister of Public Administration, I know he's a young man, but he holds the key to how this country is run, because whether you need drains, lights, water, everything relies on the public service. So I would like to see them really do an audit, a forensic audit, because I have seen over 17 cases where people have brought the state, has taken them to the court for being bypassed, for positions, for being... Right. So in other words, a lot of things are happening in the public service and we are unaware of it. So tonight I want to make an appeal to the Minister in charge of public administration that he needs to get cracking. And he needs to put things in place so that the public service will be run how it ought to be. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for this opportunity to say a few words. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening, caller.
Yeah, great program.
Yes, sir.
I just want to talk about one thing that is off topic, but it's very important.
All right. Go ahead.
Right, yeah, this is concerning old age pension, eh? You know, they call that grant, but the old age pension, I understand that if you're a person of no income at all, and they went inside there, and what happened, the officer still want to visit their home. And when they visit your home, they want to know what house you have, what big house you have, what TV, and the little luxury you have, and they want to deny you a pension.
I think that is happening.
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah, but I want to know if that is legal, right?
So what about if your children help you build a house, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And you're living comfortable because of their help, but you do have an income to sustain you. Does that mean that you're not entitled to old age pension?
But there is some of the officers they're doing things on their own.
Yeah.
And the older people don't have the knowledge and things like that, so they just going on with it. And they just what you call victimizing the people. These officers and them we're supposed to educate the older people, but we're supposed to really discipline some of these officers who want to visit home and see what the government, how big a TV is.
Caller, I'll level with you here, right? This is a conversation I have a lot with members of my family and my friends. Now, even though I'm going to share with you a conversation, I think this is something that is going to change soon. All right, let me prefix what I'm about to say by saying that. What I believe happened in the last administration was that they looked at ways to cut spending because they were spending all that money on rental for buildings in Port of Spain. So they looked at ways to cut spending, and pension, I think, was one of the ways. Food card was another. Free school textbooks was another. You see what the priority was, but that's a different conversation. And there was sort of like a soft direction from the top to limit spending through the pension avenues as much as possible. Now, you ask if it is legal, and that's why I started off by saying what I said, because the rule is, the regulation allows the field officer to come and check you, make sure you've made all of your minimum contributions, make sure you're living in Trinidad and Tobago, make sure you've been living here for a consecutive period before you've applied for the pension, make sure that certain things, you know, and if you don't meet one of the requirements, well, then it is legal for them to deny. What I'm saying is, it's close to what you have concluded, is simply this. They were intentionally trying to deny people, as opposed to the opposite, which was intentionally trying to make sure people got old age pension. Now, I'm saying all of that to explain what the current situation might be, the situation that the current minister has inherited, Minister Vandana Mohit. But she has come forward last Thursday and said, listen, the backlog that was there, some 1,000 and something figure. I
think it's 275 or
gone down to 275.
I think it's about 275.
Media asked how. She said, we work Saturday, we work Sunday. I asked for a report Monday morning. I had letters to NIS board to meet with them. I met with them. You know, so in those circumstances, I think Minister Mohit has probably, if not by now already, discovered where the fault is. And you're correct to identify the field officers as a critical element that needs revision. And I believe the minister has already concluded that and perhaps is putting things in place. So you're not. I think it is an issue that went on in this country for far too long. It is utterly unfair, unreasonable, untenable, and damn near immoral to tell a citizen they cannot get old age pension. Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing before I don't want to take too long anymore. But what they're asking to, instead of asking for your bank account number, they're asking for a bank account statement. Right? They're asking for a bank account statement.
Yeah.
Right? So I can't understand that. If you want to send the money to the bank, ask your bank account number alone.
Yeah, they want to see, what they want to do is to see how much money you have in your account.
But that is but that's supposed to be private.
Yeah.
You're going for no visa or anything.
Yeah, but I think the entire process.
All right. Okay, we have a call on just 1 second. All right. We
have a special guest.
Let's see if we will get.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Good evening to Mr. Jagisa, and of course, his associate, Mr. Nazim Ishmael, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Of course, this is Inshan Ishmael here, and I would just like to commend you for the program that you all have been doing. Please, to those of you who are out watching right now, just bear with me while I bring across my point. As you are aware, I am not well, so I am trying my best to see how this could come across. My brother, Ibrahim Ishmael, he's over 80-something years.
84.
And if you ask anybody now, in the year 2025, who was one of the best educators in Chaguanas, they will tell you Ibrahim Ishmael. I am not saying that because that is my brother. I am saying that that is because of facts. I see people today who have said, I am a lawyer, I am a doctor, I am a businessman, I am a better father because of what your brother did as the principal. Richard, you know what was my brother's nickname in Shagona Senior Comp?
What was it?
Flash.
Right.
They had that nickname for my brother. And the reason being, my brother used to buy the same color uniform as the students and dress the same color as the students. So you don't know when he's coming and you don't know when he's going. If a student is not in school, the cinema will call and say, hey, we have one of your students here. And you would have a collective effort, not just the principal alone doing something. It was a collective effort with everyone, with taxi drivers, with maxi drivers, and it had a collective effort in molding the child. These days, you make children, but you don't make their mind. But the reality of it is that we could all try better. We could all try harder. Because if we do not save this country from where we're going with our youth, it will end up being problems. I would just like to commend the government of Trinidad and Tobago. When I look at the people chosen for the education ministry, for state boards, and for other entities, I am seeing a class of people that I have not seen before in my history. And I would like to commend the Honorable Prime Minister. I would like to commend the executive and those people who have decided to put country first. I thank God. As for my health, it's a long road right now. What happens is that I'm doing a lot of physiotherapy. But for else, people reaching out, and let me tell you something, it's unbelievable the amount of family support, the love for my wife, my children, my brother sit down there, my brother sit down home, my cousin, my neighbors, politicians all over. I would like to thank you so much for your love and compassion. May God continue to bless you guys and keep up the excellent work. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago, let us all come together and see how we could build a better country for our children, and for our children, so that when we leave, because I was telling somebody today, there's not a house in Bamboo that death has not touched. Have we ever really understood this? Imagine, death has not touched. In fact, every single house in Bamboo, death has touched every single house. And I don't know how come we don't think about that. All right, fellas, so again, compliments, God bless. And as usual, for those of you who'd like to reach me via WhatsApp, 684-4762. That number is still active. And even if God decides to take me, then that number will be passed on to my son. It's one of the things I'm passing on to him now.
Sack lucky boy.
You get the number?
Yeah, you get the number. All right. Okay, thanks very much.
I take care. Okay then.
Yeah, man. All the best.
Walaikum
salam. No, one thing before we close, Richard. Amy Brown.
Chucking him out.
With the issue. Now, I want to remind Mr. Amy Brown. We had a citizen.
Yeah, bring it up.
Who was stranded in BVI.
Yeah.
Due to unforeseen health reasons. The guy almost lost his life.
Yeah.
Right? And they reached out to Amy Brown and the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And no help was rendered to the family. And Amy Brown talking about issues with foreign affairs. And you left one of your citizens there, you didn't care about them. But I getting the emails. So when I get the emails, I'll be able to highlight it. And then Amy Brown, you can call in.
Yeah. The last slide, you can bring it up in the meantime. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just saw this. This is a qualified individual condemning Nyan Gatsby Dolly, calling her statements quite unfortunate. She's politicizing. Therapist slams Gatsby Dolly for politicizing school violence issue. So what we are saying is the same as the experts on the point, which is she's confusing and conflating race and politics with a serious criminal issue which needs to be resolved and can only be resolved one way, with force. All right? So I wanted to just show that so we understand where we are. We're not here talking old talk, you know. Some of them PNM bloggers, oh God, there's a piece of old talk every minute.
And you know how we spell facts, right?
How we spell facts?
I mean, how the previous Prime Minister, not the young,
Mm-hmm. The previous.
Mm-hmm. The
how we
one.
spell it?
He say fax is FAX.
All right.
So we will leave that. Well, Richard, it's late. Akbar Trace. Akbar Trace is completely flooded.
Charlieville, Akbar Trace. Charlieville.
That's where Chief Curry is. Now, the last time we on air, I think the councillor or somebody did tell us they were cleaning it.
Yeah, Adrian Ali. We saw posts on social media.
Right, but they look like after the program, they stop. So we
you have the video? While he's talking, if you have the video, you can show it in the background.
Right, so we come, guys, that area needs cleaning, and it needs cleaning quickly, because once we do clear the grass and the slush from there, Akbar Trace is going to flood out very easily. The water has nowhere to run.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Mr. Adrian Ali,
that's lower than the highway.
Adrian Ali is the councillor? Yeah. All right, so here what we're doing. Let me see. Today is what, Wednesday? By next week, Wednesday, that should be cleaned.
Yeah.
That's enough time. Right?
You asking me like a vice minister.
No, what do you think as a reasonable enough?
Yeah. Well,
next week, Wednesday.
All right.
Should be reasonable.
It's emergency circumstances, eh?
But there were still 2 days, Moody say. So we still giving them until next week, Wednesday, when we come back. As a matter of fact, next week, Wednesday, I will pass. And I will take videos of the area. So I want to see all you clean it by next week, Wednesday. Right?
And if they don't, we roll in for them?
Well, we go
clean it for them?
No, we gotta put the councillor picture on the screen and let them know this is the councillor for the area. We ain't doing nothing wrong.
And give the citizens a way to reach the councillor.
Of course, a number. This is your councillor for your area. Call him and let him know what problems you have. That is service to the people.
Work something out.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you don't want your picture in on the screen, clean the drain.
Yeah. No, at the end of the day, it's a public access road. It's critical to some people who have to go to work, a large amount of people. I mean, that road, access, Mono Road, aspects of Charlieville and so on, people use that if you're going to the gas station there by Sun Plaza, etc. So, it needs to be dealt with. It's a serious issue, and the videos that I'm seeing here, it looks very critical. It looks like housing damage might be tonight.
Imminent, if rainfall.
Yeah.
Continue to fall.
Yep.
All right, so Richard, I think the guy, Justin, tell me it's time to sign off.
Yeah, he wanted to go home since 8 o'clock.
So, a teddy bear waiting for him. So, Justin,
so
okay, folks, I don't want to keep you much longer again, so I will hand you to Richard to do the closing off on behalf of both of us.
Thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for staying with us on this rainy Wednesday. As we discussed and we peeled through some very critical issues, but I think the school violence issue, the Ministry of Education issue is a serious one that needed to be touched on, especially in light of the current state of affairs in the country. So thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again next week, Wednesday. And don't forget to look out for the rerun of the live on Saturday, 9 p.m. All right, and we will see you next week.
All right.
Take care.
Okay, folks, good night and assalamu alaikum.